Perfect.
So we're going to set up the machine. Hi, everyone. My name is Giampaolo Battaglia, and with me, Sid. Sid is going to present the slides. We're a part of the Microsoft AI team. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about AI for good, interesting cognitive capabilities. And as you were not there yesterday, I'm going to do the trick again. As we talk about cognitive technologies, the ability for the systems to hear what I say or to see what I do, a little bit like human beings. And so in order for us to go into this path, we're going to try a cognitive experiment together. So it's going to be non-painful, hopefully, and everyone will need to do that. And if you do not do it, I will finger point you, and this is going to be very difficult. So everyone is going to put their hands like that. Everyone, don't force me to finger point you. Then you put the palms externally. Okay. Yesterday, people with the jet lag were starting to have issues at that point. Raising the left hand. Left hand. I see some hands changing. Left. Putting the hands like that. Putting that down. Closing the hands. Strong, 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 strong. Okay. So now the fingers should be able to touch themselves like that. So you did 95% of the experiment right now. So if everyone was able to hear what I was saying and see what I do, everyone should be able to do that. So we're not there yet, but it will be. So again, I'm Giampaolo Battaglia. Sid is there. We're working the Microsoft AI team. We've got a booth out there, and the idea is really to provide you an overview about these AI for Good capabilities and the AI for Good challenge and the winners of the previous challenge that happened in 2018. So if you can click on the next slide. So we're working on the interesting part of how do we showcase innovation? How do we talk about innovation, and how do we have the people being able to touch these capabilities out there? And so we had different platforms at Microsoft AI to showcase these types of innovation. One of them is called Microsoft AI Labs, and it's basically a platform in which we showcase external folks like you who have interesting projects, and we showcase how they did these innovations with AI. We've got also other capabilities like AI School, in which we're hoping to help developers to get started with AI in an easy way. And the purpose of this session is really to showcase you cool AI lab projects that we had with the previous winners, and how to get started with AI about these topics, especially for AI for Good. So the videos you see there are the previous companies, but also projects and winners of the project that we had in 2018. So let's talk about AI for Good.
So thank you, Giampaolo. AI for Good is Microsoft's initiative to sort of look at how we can empower different parts of the ecosystem to do something that is much better. We have got AI for accessibility, which is our commitment to people and helping them do things that is not possible for a certain set of people that are around us. The AI for Earth is our commitment focused on agriculture. It's focused on biodiversity and the climate change and the ecosystem in general. The AI for humanitarian action is where we work with nonprofits or organizations that are helping things like disaster relief and sort of trying to help people in scenarios where nature has not been kind to them.
And cool projects, by the way. We've got cool demos and examples for each of these projects. One for accessibility, which is super well known, is, for example, Seeing AI, which is the application on iOS, I guess, iPhones, in which you can try them. And so each of them are super cool scenarios that we're usually working and showcasing.
Absolutely. And you can come down to our booth, which is right there, and see and explore some of the AI for Good projects that we've worked on. So what is this AI for Good Developer Challenge? The AI for Good Developer Challenge is asking you guys to submit ideas that might help solve some of these hardest problems in the world by using AI, leveraging all the amazing technology that you see around here, and put it to application. The first prize is a nice cool Surface Book 2 and $10,000 of Azure credits to run your service. You also get an NVIDIA GPU or an Xbox One as the second and third prizes. The submissions should be there by the 26th of June, 2019, because after that we will get cracking and shortlisting all the cool ideas.
And that go in many directions. If you think about, like, AI for good encompasses so many different topics and subjects, like, yeah, biodiversity, agriculture, climate change, water. By the way, we've got a pretty good example for clean water in our previous winners, right?
Absolutely. And which brings me to the previous year's AI challenge winners. And one of the winners was Clean Water AI. They used deep neural networks to find bacteria and understand whether the water in the places that they were visiting was potable or not. And what we did with all the winners was create this amazing video which showcased and sort of allowed you to understand how that technology really impacted the people and the ecosystem around them. It went down to not just the how, the why, the what, but also sort of combine all of this together in a nice sort of 1 minute, 30-second video that we built out for the winners right here in Redmond. But you take a layer deeper about what this is, and you understand that this all comes together because of all the amazing technology that you can put together, like Lego bricks. It comes from a microscope or a camera, uses a third-party helium hub, our Azure ID hub, and then sort of we massage the data on the app. And this is sort of the deep dive technology that allows you to see how those ideas come to life. Another one of them was Angel Eyes. Angel Eyes was a more personal story. It was a story about two parents who really wanted to sort of see how technology can help them monitor their baby because their baby had a disease or condition where it needed continuous monitoring. And they sort of built out their own Raspberry Pi cameras and tried to understand how neural network can allow with posture detection. And they also built out their own sort of entire stack using a variety of Azure functions. We are more than happy to deep dive on any of these sort of technical architectures or discuss them at our booth over there. The last one was Post Tracker. Post Tracker was a completely different thing. It was about structural integrity of different structures. So you take a 2D image, and then it sort of maps out a 3D sort of layout, and you can sort of see structural integrity of architectures inside. And again, all of these have a video. They have.
It's going by itself.
No, it's not going by itself. It's going by that.
You had a clicker.
Yeah.
I was scared. Like, he has this pen, and I said, it's not a clicker. But in the end, it was one. Okay.
It is a clicker. Thanks, Gianpaolo. It's a
You
magic
see,
wand.
I jump literally on the machine, says, no, go back. Okay. So, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, three different ideas. Okay, I'm not used to use this clicker. Thank you.
There you go.
It's kind of cool. So when you think about these three examples, it's really about how people try to resolve the specific problem related, some of them for AI for good, and then trying to see if technology can help and enhance through that. You've seen some of the architecture, and some of them which are pretty dense are going, as Sid mentioned, to be explained also in our booth area, which is just out there. It's the Microsoft AI part. And so how do we showcase then these innovative pieces? So I talked a little bit about the AI Lab. This is the AI Lab site. Like, you can say ailab.microsoft.com. And the idea is that we've got different showcases. Some of them you can download directly interesting app samples. Another one is going to be really you experimenting the capabilities. And the last one is that's this kind of innovative stories. The winners, for example, often go in the story part. And it's always like that. You've got tons of different projects, and the idea is to showcase more and more ongoing innovation and innovative pieces. Two of the projects that we announced today are more coming from Microsoft Research, one being related to machine teaching with the autonomous systems, and we've got a cool Sarcos machine moving by itself out there. The second one is more related to responsible AI with cool homomorphic encryption capabilities. And every time we have these projects, the idea is for you to experiment them. It's really not just telling the story, it's also you touching it and playing and interacting with it. And then the last part is also you being able to download it and install some components on your side and create net new projects based on that. So this is always how AI Lab work. There are projects, people submitting things, and sometimes they are external developers like you. Sometimes it's internal developers from Microsoft Research or any other group in Microsoft. We expose them in AI Lab, and they often have the same pattern. Hands-on experiments, so you really go and have you being able to test the service by yourself and play with it. You can also see the code sample and snippets on GitHub, so you can really download that. One good example that we presented yesterday were the GFK files with cognitive search. You can download all the repo related to GitHub directly on your side and start making tweaks. And then the last part, which is kind of interesting, is that it's cool to see the innovation, play with it, but it's also cool for you to have this step-by-step guide. Sometimes GitHub, you've got the explanation, but if it's not enough, we've got all the AI School capabilities. And AI School is another channel in which we showcase all the interesting projects directly into an easy step-by-step guide. Everything is free, and you've got the way to get started with these projects on your side. And even more capabilities from the Azure AI platform or the Microsoft AI platform. For that topic of today, which is AI for Good, we just launched yesterday interesting AI for Earth and responsible AI modules. And how do they look like? Think about kind of cheat sheet with all the nice pieces of the platform, but we're also showcasing AI for Earth capabilities that can help for these projects that you might be interested to participate in. One is dedicated to land cover mapping API, which is one of the AI for Earth capabilities, looking within interesting areas to identify if you've got any trees or buildings or elements like that that can be implemented into your app in a very easy way. A second one, more about Earth sustainability, is about classification for species. And the last part that we wanted to show you was, okay, you've got the building blocks, you've got the tools, but sometimes it's a little bit hard to get started. So the last part of our booth is just to get started with that. So we've got an area in which you can do the level 1 getting started of AI for Good and AI for Earth API. This is a Jupyter notebook that with tables and machines you can get started and play with it on your own and see how the APIs are working. And the good thing is that if you do this tiny training of 5 minutes, you go away with this nice switcher that we're providing. So in any case, I would say if you want and if you're interested to participate for this AI for Good Developer Challenge, you've got different interesting steps.
Yeah, so one of the things that is the most important is the need of the society that you're trying to solve. That is about 50% of what we sort of value at. You could submit a video explaining your submission and an architecture diagram, at least in the first iteration of that. And we will, if you're shortlisted, we will work with you to sort of get the source code up and running. And a good sort of example would be how complex is it to scale? Does it help a particular situation, or does it help people at scale? And those are things that we will look at. We are not looking, what we are not looking at is commercial models or venture capital fund kind of things. I've worked in a startup myself before, so I know all of that. But what we are looking is how AI can truly empower and help people around you. So
just before going to the next steps, I'd love to spend a couple of minutes just to show you these 2 or 3 different platforms. It's going to take a minute. Oh, you put your buttons on the top left.
Wrong edge. Yeah, I was used to Ubuntu, so apologies for that.
And it's better to have slides, but also to show you a little bit how they look like. aidemos.microsoft.com. So the first one, as mentioned, is about the AI Labs. So it's exactly the website I showed you with the experiment, the stories, and the application samples. And when you think about the different projects that we have, it goes in lots of different directions, like how we get started on these autonomous systems principles, how you see the Clean Water AI, which is the winner of previous year, Gen Studio, Intelligent Robotics, the GFK files. And every time you're able to explore all these steps in a very easy way. One of the last labs that we released is about what we call responsible conversational AI and homomorphic encryption. Let's show both. So in that example, and it's really important for us, in our booth, we've got one section related to AI for Good and the other for responsible AI. It's good to have the technology to code the things, but it's even more important for doing that in a more responsible way. And each of the steps are related, for example, for building a bot, to this kind of cool principles that have been published within Microsoft Research, which are explaining step by step what are the, I would say, the important criteria you need to take into account when you're building a bot. And when we're having these capabilities, we've got also the step-by-step guides present in AI School, which are present there. So if we click on Responsible AI, think about how they're currently working. I showed you AI for Earth a second ago. When you go into Responsible Conversational AI, you're going to have all the steps to think about when you need to build a bot for your customers or your partners or for different regions. Like, is the bot reliable? Are you able to ensure that the bot is also taking into account accessibility or taking the good practices and ensuring that they're not going to have any misuses, fairness, diversity, and so on. So the idea is really to provide you all the tools to get started with these capabilities on the go. Everything is free, and you can get started today. So the last piece, and then we'll finish and have the opportunity to have some questions with you, and answers, hopefully, is a little bit of the recap of all the resources that were presented. So feel free
to take pictures of this.
If you needed to take a picture for one thing, this one might be good. Yeah. So think about the different elements we discussed during this talk. So one is going to be taking the AI challenge in the booth just out there and see and learn a little bit more about the capabilities. Feel free to take a look as well at the other sections of the booth. One is going to be AI accessibility, AI for all. The second one is going to be about the autonomous system. The third one, responsible AI and AI for good. And the last one being the challenge by itself. Then having the opportunity, if you're interested to submit your ID, feel free to do it so. And we created this cheat sheet of all the interesting Azure AI tools and capabilities that help you to get started in an easy way. We presented tons of super cool Azure Cognitive Services new capabilities 2 days ago. Feel free to use them as well for interesting and innovative projects. AI Lab, AI School. And we also put our own alias, which is askai@microsoft.com. This is basically, instead of writing gianpaolo.battaglia@microsoft.com, which takes you 5 hours probably, you can directly send that to Ask AI and it directly goes to our inbox. And feel free to contact us also through LinkedIn or Twitter if you're interested.
Both of us have really long names.
That's it, yeah, it's long names.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, and now we can have some questions and answers. You can come, you can raise your hand, it's as you like. And if not, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you.